I think one of the weirdest parts about being alive right now is that somehow everyone feels like they're behind in life. Like, seriously, who decided that by a certain age, we're all supposed to have everything figured out? Because I don't remember signing up for have your entire life planned out by 25 challenge. But apparently, everyone else is just trying to accomplish that. Because you open Instagram and someone your age just bought a house. You open TikTok and someone your age is just a millionaire. You talk to your friends and somehow they're getting married, having kids, and somebody got their dream job. And then there's me, who hasn't been doing any of that. Just none of the things I just mentioned. Absolutely zilch. And I think to myself, am I a failure? Will my parents disown me? I know they won't, but do you get the point I'm trying to make here? The worst part is it feels like everyone you know is ahead. Like you're standing still while everyone else around you is just running a marathon around you in fucking laps. But here's the thing. What if you're not actually behind? What if you're just comparing your life to people who are showing you a completely edited version of theirs? Or just the best version of themselves, like social media tends to do. Because I think a lot of us struggle with feeling behind in life. And that's why I made this video today to just kind of talk about why that happens and just go into more detail over it. First point I want to make is something I just said literally a couple seconds ago is the internet shows us people at their best. This is a variation of a quote you've probably heard before, but I think it's the biggest reason people feel behind, like genuinely. Because social media has completely changed the way we look at success. For social media, if someone was successful, close friends and family usually saw the result. This is like probably back 30 years ago. Information traveled a lot slower than it does compared to today. Nowadays, we see everyone's results all day, every day. You see somebody announce they bought a new house. You see someone post their new car. You see someone celebrating their promotion on fucking LinkedIn. You see somebody traveling around the world on Instagram and they've been to like 10 countries in Europe in the last month. Obviously, that's awesome for them. I'm not here to dog on anyone sharing their accomplishments at all. Kudos to you, live your life, props to you. But the problem is, we're comparing our entire life to the best 5 seconds someone decided to upload. Nobody posts, hey guys, just wanted to share an update with y'all. I spent 3 years doubting myself, failed twice, and I just picked up becoming an alcoholic in the last year. Like, no, nobody posts that. They post big announcement, new chapter, which is great. But we forget that there was an entire book before that chapter they posted online. You see someone else's success, but you don't see the years of work behind it. You see someone else's chapter 15 and compare it to your chapter 3. And then you wonder why you feel behind. Just try not to compare yourself when scrolling online. I know it's like damn near impossible because I do it myself almost every day. And I'll go on like ChatGPT and be like, how is this kid like this rich at 19 doing this? And like I try to figure out myself and I never can. It's hard. I understand. Just try and understand that you're looking at the top 1% of people. You're looking at the best of the best at the top peaks of their life. And you have your own story to write. Don't try and compare yourself to them. Do your own thing. Keep your head up. The second point I want to talk about is something that I personally believe, and it's that society has basically handed us a rigid one-size-fits-all checklist for life. And somehow we all blindly agreed to follow it. Graduate at 22, get the job, buy a house, get married, have kids, retire, and then live happily ever after. Hallelujah. But this checklist assumes everyone starts with the same resources, the same opportunities, and the same desires. We act like by 30, we're supposed to own property, have a six-figure salary, and have the perfect relationship. Life doesn't care about society's timeline. Some people buy a house early, and some people realize they'd rather rent forever and use their money to travel. Material milestones don't define your pace because the checklist itself is fake. It's made up. Society just said, yeah, this is what you should do. And we're all just like, yeah, we agree. We should. You define your own pace based on what matters to you. Don't let society dictate what avenues are best for you. Take your own path and just find your own route. Don't do what everyone else does. Live your own life and experience what you want to experience. The next point I want to talk about why people feel so behind is that people keep looking up and they're forgetting the climb that they're doing. Like what I'm trying to say is think about it this way. If you stop and look at your own life, do you actually know any hyper successful 18, 19, or like 20-year-olds personally on like a first name basis where you can like wave and say what's up and they'll actually answer you? Probably very few, if any. But could you name a dozen people who aren't like super successful yet or just coasting? I bet you could pretty easily. So why is it when we think about our own lives, we ignore the average reality and just focus on the top 1%? It's because we have this toxic tendency to constantly look upward at who is ahead of us, entirely forgetting how far we've already climbed ourselves. I fell into this exact trap when I started going to the gym. When I first started working out, all I cared about was trying to be the biggest guy in there. I was in there constantly, sometimes like twice a day. And I did this for years and made some insane amounts of progress. And I was actually super proud of what I did because I was just so obsessed with a guy lifting more than me. And I just completely forgot where I was at. I was just so focused on the next thing in front of me that I just like kind of forgot why I even started in the first place. Like I started because I wanted to look jacked, like doesn't every guy want to look jacked? That's kind of why we all start, I think. And I just wanted to look bigger and better. And I went from a guy who went to look up basic tutorials on like how to do a squat to someone who was researching the optimal rep ranges for my specific training style for like push pull legs, or like if I wanted to get hypertrophy, like all these different little variations. The difference in those two search bars tells the entire story of my growth. The difference between those is immeasurable. Like you have a complete beginner to someone who's researching exact topics on that. But I almost missed it because I was too busy looking at that next milestone. So don't get so lost in the clouds of your future goals and then forget to stand on the ground that you've already conquered yourself. But even if you accept that timelines are fake and you've made progress, there's still that nagging internal feeling in the back of your mind that you're doing it wrong. And that brings us to the biggest secret of all of it. Almost nobody actually knows what they're doing in life. Point 2 was about an external checklist, but this one is about your internal identity. Adults are basically just children who learn how to pay bills and hide their emotions a little bit better. That's it. We look at people in their 20s and 30s and assume they have this eternal peace. But we look in at all those late night drive moments and we're all thinking, am I making the right decision? Did everyone else get a memo that I somehow missed? The truth is, life isn't a straight highway where you lock in a career and a personality at 22 and just coast that way forever. People completely change their minds. People can change careers at 35 or move across the country at 28. People blow up their lives and start over from scratch because they realize the path they were on just wasn't meant for them. It's like going on a road trip somewhere new and you're using Google Maps or something. You might take a wrong turn, you might have to reroute, but taking a detour or changing your destination doesn't mean you're lost. It just means you're having your own version of the drive. So maybe the reason everyone feels behind is because we're all looking at everyone else's finish line instead of paying attention to our own race. Because the truth is, there is no universal timeline. There is no age where you're supposed to have everything figured out, and there is no point where life suddenly becomes perfect. Everyone is just trying their best with the information that they have. So if you're watching this right now, lying in bed, eating snacks, avoiding responsibilities, and wondering why you're behind in life, congrats. You're literally doing what millions of other people are doing right now, including myself. I'm literally sitting here playing zombies. And honestly, you might not be behind. You might just be part of the story where things are still being built. So stop comparing your beginning to someone else's end. Just pursue what matters to you. Everyone's time is different, and if you are persistent, it will come eventually. Because your race isn't supposed to be like anyone else's. And who knows, maybe you're not falling behind, maybe you're just learning more skills you'll need in the future. But if you guys enjoyed this little video, please leave a like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.